Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros podcast. I'm Kristen Knapp, and I'm here with Randy Eaton. He's an investor and the owner of Handy Randy general contracting business in Missouri. So excited to get into everything investing, contracting, and just, to share some tips and tricks with everybody. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate you having us.
Awesome. So kind of just start out, how about you just give a general background on yourself and how you got to where you are today?
So as far as Handy Randy's, we started back in 2011. Kind of just was sick and tired of working dead-end jobs, just not really being able to provide for the family. So at one point I just, looked at the wife and said, let's take the last few $1,000s we have and invest it into some tools. I've always had a little bit of background, with my grandpa or whatnot, just what we would call tinkering around in the garage, building stuff in the backyard or whatnot. So I just kind of took that little bit of a passion and just started. This was back in the days, kind of before Facebook a little bit. Not quite, but, we would use Craigslist a lot to post ads and find a lot of business that way. And so we just kind of started a little mom and pop, little handyman company. And so we did that for probably close to 8-9 years before I finally realized that I didn't have a company. I actually had a job. So I had created a job for myself, and in order to change that, I had to change certain things about what I was doing to actually get it to be a company and to run. So then that led to obviously a few years of trial and error with different stuff and learning, about business, because this is all coming from not having any education with any of it. So, so where we are today is we do everything from commercial to residential. We are a small mom and pop handyman company that kind of services everything from the roof to the floor, inside and out. Over the years, we have grown into the mobile home space. We do a lot with mobile homes in the sense of rehabs, repairs. Like I mentioned to you earlier, we even go as far as moving, setting, demoing, just all aspects of it. And then this year we have grown and wanted to expand more into outdoor living. So we are getting more into the deck space. We're doing a lot more decks and pergolas, gazebos, things like that. So we kind of are all over the place, but we are kind of honing into, like what I just said, those last couple things, the outdoor living and things like that. At the same time, in the background, I like to do investing into real estate. That's essentially my retirement plan. So with that, we look for distressed properties. We look for any and every opportunity with real estate. I joke and tell my kids all the time, there's a million ways to make $1 million in real estate. So, what we started to do, because in the beginning, we didn't really have much to work with in terms of credit and money. So we did a lot of creative financing with folks. We during the COVID days, gave me the opportunity to kind of sit down and deep dive into how these things work.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
As far as, the creative finance side of things, subject twos and seller financing, and just how all this worked and inside and out and stuff. So we found a couple properties that fit that criteria, and we executed those, rehabbed them with our Handy Randy's crew, and then turned those into our first couple rentals. So that's kind of what got our foot in the door. We since then have gotten into, just everything. I wanted to learn about tax properties, so we took 1 year and we learned a little bit about that, went down and we bought us one. We still currently have it. I don't know what we're going to do with it, but it's there for the future for what we decide to do. So that's kind of where we're at today. And then as far as the future goes, we are looking at doing some future opportunities in the region and state here. There's certain developments going on, and we are looking to fill a housing crisis with that. We are looking to go in and build, regular single-family homes. I'm looking to talk with a couple people about maybe doing some small communities, where we could buy a couple, 20 acres and put a few homes on that. To where, like I told you before, we're extremely deep into mobile homes. So we've talked about maybe even creating a mobile home community as well. So those are the things that we have in the future that we're looking to do over the next year or so. So that's kind of the path we're heading.
That's awesome. I mean, there's so many things I'd like to touch on from what you just said. The first being you're essentially self-taught in all of this contracting, correct?
Yes.
That's
I will
incredible.
say I did go when I was 16 years old. I did go to Job Corps. I went there for about a year and a half and got certified in the trade of HBI, which is Home Builders Institute. So essentially maintenance. Little did I know then that I would be owning a handyman company 10 years later. I did have a little bit of training with that, but again, they taught a lot of basic skills, and coming from the background that I had with my grandpa and whatnot, it was already kind of self-taught.
That's incredible. I mean, there's so much and there's so many different facets of your industry. I can imagine when you first got into it, it was maybe an intimidating undertaking.
Definitely. When you, and even still to this day, there's stuff that, I can encounter. We were just going through a permitting process, and I've pulled and dealt with hundreds of permits, but there's always one little thing or this and that 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 you just didn't know about. Or I joke and say last year we had a department of the county that we never even knew existed, and they popped out of the woodworks on us, and we had to deal with a couple of issues that but it's just there's always a learning curve, and the best thing to it for me is well, let's go back to what like I said with my grandpa. What he always taught me was try to learn something new every day. If you learn something new every day, that's 365 things a year that you learn that you did not know. So that's kind of one thing that just drives me. Just I love, if it's something I don't know, I got to know.
Yeah. And something that really stood out that you said is you were starting up this business and you realize you created a job for yourself, but not a business. And I think that's such a powerful just observation, because I think a lot of people confuse the two, you know? And
Right.
how did you take it from just a job for yourself to an actual company?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Right. Well, and that's hard. That's hard in itself to recognize that it's hard in itself, like what I told you. And it's you have to ask, what some of my weaknesses are. It was implementing people in the right positions. First, knowing that that is what you need, and then seeking and finding the right person for those positions. And that is still something we struggle with today. But what I do know is that you just keep your eye and ear out. You look for talent that is out there, and you hope that they come aboard and join and have the same vision that you do.
Totally. Hiring people is tough.
Yes, definitely. Finding good help is hard, especially in this industry. Everybody can swing a hammer. Everybody can use a drill, but putting competence and skill and just it's a bit more. So but yes, good help is hard to find in this industry.
Yeah. And then as you're making the transition, well, not necessarily transition, because I know you're doing both still, but when you started adding investing into the business, that seems like such a seamless transition because you were already doing so much work with investors. Can you just talk a little bit more about that and how it just made sense as your next step?
So, like I said, I mean, it got to a point to where once I realized this was just a job and I needed to create a business, um, you know, retirement came into the picture. I was like, so what am I going to do for this? It, in other words, do I want to be doing this when I'm 50, 55, 60 years old? Do I still want to be out here in the field, running crews and doing things like that? And for me, the answer was no, I did not. So I needed to devise a plan to get me out of the field. And what I kept seeing was all these investors and different property managers and all these people kept coming to guys like us, and we're looking, it was almost like we had the secret sauce of what they were looking for. And I quickly realized that was, for me, I get labor at cost. I get the material at cost. I get everything at cost. So because I can take my handyman company and the knowledge and apply that to our own real estate investments, I have the upper hand more so than a lot of investors do. Because for an investment company to come in and do what we do, now they got to become a general contractor. Now they got to employ employees. Now they have to, I hate to say it like this, but babysit people. So once I realized that that's what we had, then it was just a matter of, okay, so how do I do what they do now? And it's just started kind of watching, learning, asking questions from certain folks. And then, like I said, come along COVID, and it just kind of allowed me the time to sit back and say, okay, I'm going to deep dive into these different strategies of how I can get my foot in the door. And for me, I used creative financing. We subject to and did a couple of seller financing homes, mobile homes, and that's what we used to get into the real estate game and got our first couple rentals. So yeah, for me, it was almost like a no-brainer once, all the flags started kind of going up, and I just had to really start paying attention is what it really boiled down to.
Wow. Yeah. That's incredible. That's another aspect where you kind of are self-taught and have to just figure it out.
Yeah.
Seems to
Well, it
be.
ain't always good. I mean, there's a lot of times it's just like, man, I'm wasting a lot of time. If I could just fast forward, the whole like seminars, what's great about a seminar is that, you got a guy, this is kind of how it was described to me. what is a seminar? What is the value from it? Is you get a guy that essentially crams 30 years of experience into a matter of a few hours or a few days, and you're able to capture that. So that was the frustrating part for me throughout this journey, is how much time it takes and the lag in, okay, well, I guess I got to go through this journey to get to this, or to know about this, or to learn this lesson, or whatever. So, but yes, I mean, it's great in some aspects, but in others it can be, just as daunting.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
So
Totally. I mean, especially since you were so skilled in your handyman construction company and then you're taking on something new, it is kind of daunting to have to start from essentially zero. Didn't sound like you started from zero, but it is daunting.
100%. Right, 100%.
Yeah. And tell me more about the mobile home market and the opportunities there. I know you do a lot of work with those.
So for me, again, we just got into this probably 4 or 5 years ago, as far as the investing side of it for us. And it just kind of blew my mind with the amount of rent that they were getting. It's essentially the same. I mean, a 3-bedroom home is the same as a 3-bedroom mobile home. So when I realized that and seen, okay, well, just hypothetically, we can get in and out of these homes for $50,000, and yet I can get, $12,000 in rent per year out of it. I mean, it was just, I couldn't believe the numbers, and it's almost like you're letting the cat out of the bag when you start to talk to people about it, because it's almost like it can't be that good. And when you get into this and you know what you're doing, as far as, I mean, a lot of people look at mobile homes and they think that they're worse than a home. And to me, there is differences, but there's differences, but there's no difference, if that makes any sense. Like, it's a 2x6 is a 2x6, a glass window and a door is a door. Now, is there different sizes? Do they, things like that? Yeah, of course. But with that, you just change suppliers. You just change where you're getting your source, your material. So it, for me, there's a lot of opportunities there. So that's kind of why we're looking and heading in that direction as well.
I mean, that sounds incredible. It sounds like a great opportunity that a lot of people probably just look over because maybe it's not the sexiest thing in the world, but I mean, the numbers sound great.
Right. I mean, and there's a lot of cases, like I said, the numbers can be better than a single family or multifamily deals. But for us, it was just, we gave it a try, and so far we haven't had, knock on wood, haven't had any bad experiences or bad, anything with it. So, and I would highly recommend it. Everybody kind of, go and look into, what you can do with your local markets and whatnot. But that for us was the door opener and allowed us to get into other single families. And like I said, we're looking at trying to do communities now. So that's a big stepping stone for us.
Yeah. Talk more about the communities.
So with that, I mean, there's, bigger fish in the pond, if you will, that are investing, millions upon millions of dollars in the area, with, we'll use Lake of the Ozarks, for example. They're getting ready to put in by the end of 2026. There's a huge resort going in, resort, theme park, restaurants, stores, everything. They're, at this point, that's $500 million is what they're investing in out there. So And at this point, the housing before this exists, the housing market is super, super short. They just, there's not enough supply to keep up with the demand. So, and then now you're going to be adding thousands upon thousands of more jobs, and influxing the tourism in this area as well. It's just, it's the housing is going to, it's more than a crisis at this point. So I feel like again, anything you do out there, from building single family homes to small communities to, like I said, what we're looking at doing is, getting, tens and tens of acres and turning them into small little communities, whether it's, mobile home communities or, hypothetically 20, 30 acres with, 30, 40, 50 homes on it. So, again, that's just kind of the direction we're heading. We're looking at talking to people. We're looking, to partner up with different investors to go down this journey with us.
That's incredible. That seems like such a great step. And
100.
And in terms of, the contracting business, as investors are, doing their own properties, what's something you wish investors knew working with a contractor? Because I'm sure you see everything. I'm sure you see the mistakes and the over budgets and all that. So what's something that you would want to say about that?
In the sense of, what I would want the investors to know would be, it boils down to, if you're trying to do things at cost and at budget, like I said, you got to start weighing out the option of, do you want to open up and run your own company and oversee guys, or do you want to have a company come in and do that for you? So with that, there's a premium. And I know a lot of investors, they want to come in and they want to get this done, as cheap as possible, so the numbers work and they're bigger and all this stuff. But at the same time, I think they lose sight of the fact that you got a guy here that is running the show, overseeing everything. And I run into that a little bit over the years, is where you get a client that wants to be a property manager, or I'm sorry, not a property manager, but a general contractor, and GC the job, right? And I feel like if you hire a general contractor, that's what you're paying them for, is to schedule guys there to get the job done, to get XYZ, which you agree upon, done. And to allow that to happen, and not sit there and try to, if you will, cut his legs out from underneath them. And essentially just to see our worth, to see what general contractors are actually worth. You're paying us for a service, let us provide that service, essentially. So.
Absolutely. I think that's great. It's great advice, feedback, all of that. So yeah, this has been a very quick 20 minutes. It seems to have flown by, but where can people learn more about your business?
They can find us, all over. We're Handy Randy's LLC. You can look us up on Facebook, Google. We're, like I said, we're all over the place. Should I put my phone number on here?
If you want, yeah, you're more than welcome to.
You can reach us at 314-917-2386. That'll get you directly to me. And we can, talk about your next project.
Awesome. Well, everybody, please take advantage of that. It sounds like, Randy has so much to offer. So thank you so much for being here today. This has been awesome. And I know that people learned a lot.
No problem. And I appreciate you having us.
Awesome. Okay. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.